Coming up on A SkinDepth Convo.
Friend piped up and said kangaroo sperm.
Expose yourself a little.
Expose yourself.
Dax is
exposing herself.
I want to expose my décolleté.
Who has their pumpkin latte in hand? I got mine.
Woohoo!
Great way.
Ooh, she's
She's
really
noticing the older men. Okay. She's watching them walking down the street.
We learned something.
Oh, what did you learn?
What did you learn?
I was like, what?
Don't mess with ataxia, because we'll take it to the next level.
This is a show focused on educating and inspiring all those in the skincare and beauty industry. But it is also a show for those looking to improve themselves from the inside out. In each episode, we explore the latest trends, breakthrough technologies, and get expert insight within the dynamic world of skincare and beauty. If you're looking to further your beauty education and nurture your passion, you're in the right place. Renowned experts and hosts Metaxia Delikas and Francine Kagarakis aim to educate and inspire through their own experiences and are dedicated to enlightening and empowering enthusiasts and professionals in the realm of skincare and beauty. Join the conversation and the fun with A SkinDepth Convo. Welcome to A SkinDepth Convo. I'm Anna Kagarakis. 2025 is just about in the books, and what a year it's been. Today, we're taking a look back at some of the most inspiring conversations, emotional moments, and fascinating guests we've had on the show this year. Now, I always have an incredible time doing this show with our Lyric Clinical founders, Francine Kagarakis and Metaxia Delikas, and we've learned quite a lot about each other over the course of the show. But for the first time, Metaxia opened up about her experience being diagnosed with breast cancer and what life looked like while they were building Lyric Clinical at the same time.
You think it happens to everybody but you. Not having a mammogram for years because it's not going to happen to me. And finally falling a few times, kind of getting a signal that something's wrong, going in because of a bruise from the fall, and getting a mammogram and realizing it wasn't a bruise, it was breast cancer. I think the shock of hearing the word cancer, it breaks you. It breaks you, and all of a sudden it hits you in a different way, because, you think cancer, you think death sentence, and it's scary. And so then you have a follow-up. But I have to tell you, the first thing I learned from it is that mammograms prevention is the best key for whatever we could share. Prevention is where it's at, number one, because if I didn't have fallen and didn't have that inkling to go for that fall, I would have not had a mammogram, and I probably would have had more of a stage 3, stage 4 cancer.
I always say that it was our dad who was on the other side. Yeah. Actually, he passed years ago, who actually pushed her, because I think she was concerned, but she never paid attention. But in my heart, I do feel that Dad, our father, actually pushed her to the point where she had to pay attention. So I take it as a blessing. So that fall was a blessing.
And having, Elizabeth Davis from Lodi, I have to say that she basically says, "Where's your mammogram?" She was so adamant to insisted for me to get a mammogram. I never really went out to get help. I always was trying to give help, but for someone to say, "Stop, take care of yourself, get this done, follow up," was definitely a big moment for me, to understand that you got to take care of yourself a little bit and prioritize better. So I was very fortunate that I had a good support system. Plus Francine, could you imagine Francine every day, 3-4 times a day calling me, "Did you get your test? Did you get your test?" But I didn't want to share it. I have 3 boys and a daughter, and I didn't want to talk about it because it's breast cancer. It's a very, very common thing right now, and should we all be comfortable to talk about it?
And it was at a rough time. The first time was when we were really looking at putting Lyra together, and you had to decide if you wanted to put Lyra together at that point. What were you going to do? So there was a lot of decisions to be made at that point, because do you plan for the future? Do you stop? What do you do? And the fact that she chose to, you know what, we're going to get through this and go forward, made a big difference.
It was 2008 the first time, because I've had it twice. The first time was 2008. And what I realized is that I wanted to go forward. I needed to put something, if something happened to me, I wanted something in place for my family and for the people who worked with me. So it was a mission to help them. but it really helped me because I didn't want to leave my family without, all the hard work that we did in the industry, and my sister and, the people that have worked with me. So I was on a mission to save them originally.
But you know what? That kindness saved you
Yeah.
and us. So the good news is the fact that being a fighter is very important. And she was a fighter. I mean, she took it on. We were all scared. There's no ifs and buts about that. Everyone was scared because the cancer word scares everyone. I just thank God today it's not as bad. So people should not be scared when they hear the word cancer. Just go in and get the treatments. Go in, find out what's going on, because it's so important to get the treatments. But that was your first time.
First time.
What treatment did you get?
Lumpectomy, and I had radiation. And that was the first time I realized that skin played an important role, because getting radiation for over 30 days, your skin gets raw and the heat actually penetrates outside of your body. It really is strong. And really having some type of hydration on my skin was really an eye-opening, because I didn't think I needed it. And all of a sudden I needed it. And that was in 2008.
What kind of hydration did you use? What did you use that helped?
A dimethicone, actually, Elizabeth Davis, and I wanted to, because she had a good friend that had it too, and that burning sensation. So we tried to put a dimethicone cream together, and we did. It helped me through it. But again, there was just more formulations right now. But it helped me to use something that was keeping it hydrated without any chemicals, something very simple, something not to irritate that wound.
Metaxia went on to share how her skin changed during her cancer battle and what products became her go-to lifelines.
Clean skincare, certain things that we had to avoid. Francine's a guru of ingredients. She'll tell you all these things, but I literally took the product there. It says, what can I use? Mastica cleanser was a savior. My skin was so sensitive. SPFs, you're photosensitive to sun. The journey of our skin is going to alter from season, but alter from conditions. Antibiotics will change it. So being aware of your skin needs. Fran, what did you notice with my skin? I mean, there's a lot going on with me.
I noticed the one thing. First of all, she started turning a little more gray than normal.
Yeah.
And she was, like I said, losing weight. You saw her face thinning out. Her skin was dry. And what she really needed at that time was a lot more hydration. Of course, protection. That was one thing she needed to do. The beauty oil, the anti-inflammatory, just was calming it down, making her feel a little better, bringing it down her neck. When she was going through radiation, she had to use it in the area that they were targeting for the radiation. She had to use a lot more hydrating to protect the skin's barrier, because the skin became raw. And so she had some issues right there. So it's about really putting back into the skin, because Metaxia is right. There's a lot of turmoil, but they're putting in chemo. And that's very difficult in the body. So you have to keep putting in more and more nutrients to the skin, hydration to the skin, and just making sure that everything that you're using is something positive. No retin-A's, no retinols, no acids,
No glycolics.
No glycolics, absolutely. Just, you don't need that stuff at that point. All you're doing is repairing, because your body is fighting and trying to get rid of the cancer, and all the products that you put on top should be hydrating and anti-inflammatory and antioxidants with protection.
I was using recovery
Because of your
balm.
lips? Yes.
Yeah, the caviar. Dr. Rugo said the caviar was, again, really nice, nourishing. That helped too. But I have to tell
helped
you,
a lot of people. That's the reason why we use that product for Breast Cancer Awareness Month, because it is
Rich.
such a big hit for
It's
very
rich.
But her journey didn't end there. 10 years later, the cancer returned, and she talked about the differences the second time around.
And, they said 5 years and then 8 years, and I would look for those long-term survivors. So I went to my 10-year anniversary date. I'm taking a estrogen blocker longer, just to be cautious. I went in, and that nurse, God bless her, that nurse did just a check on me, and she says, oops, something's not right. And right away sent me and realized, same breast, realized that I had a recurrence, but it was a different one. It's really crazy. The first one was estrogen positive, and the second was HER2 positive. And I was at a UCSF, and they moved fast. And I went through a whole setup of chemo for a year and a half. Without Francine and Anna doing the cold cap, I was scared of losing my hair, and the doctor looked at me, you're going to lose your life if you don't worry about your hair. That's secondary. Your first primaries where I get this chemo in you. Dr. Hope Rugo, I have to put a shout out for her, UCSF. She called me. I was having a meltdown, and I was in the office with a nurse, and she dialed Dr. Rugo, and she answered. She was in South Korea. She answered the phone and said, "What does she need?" So, I mean, the support system means a lot. It gives you that I can do this kind of thing. I never was left alone with all the chemo. Francine and Anna went to every one of those chemos, leaving 5 o'clock in the morning and staying till 7 o'clock at night. But you know, it's a journey. But I have to tell you, I realize life is today, not tomorrow. And what I realize that we have to really focus on every day as today, because I don't have tomorrow, but I have today. It really changed my perspective in life. I realized that life is sweeter, moments are memorable, and I think that working in the field that you love, and I love this industry, I love the people that are around me, I feel that it's given me the power and the will to keep going. And now, that was second time was 2018. And I had to go through a year and a half of chemo, a double mastectomy. What else did I get through? But a lot.
Yeah,
That's
And
a
I
lot.
was
The
working through
chemo, you didn't have chemo the first time. You had the
No.
radiation.
No.
The second time with the chemo was rougher. It was a little tough for you, and it was, you didn't feel good. I remember we were trying to bring in different foods in the office so she would eat something. I remember trying to get her to eat the peanut butter and jelly, those frozen
Yes.
things from Costco that they have. We were just getting her to try to eat something because she would not eat. She lost her appetite. The cold pack was very difficult. She had to sit there with pain medication to be able to tolerate the cold pack on her head. And that was difficult, but she was a trooper. She got through it with a lot of prayers and a lot of love. And we had love from not only family and friends, but we had a great office staff that were right there supporting her. And we have a great team. And it was difficult going out to do any type of training. I remember we went to Australia that year, and Metaxi didn't go, and it was devastating. For me, it was very hard. I know Brenda came, and we went and did it, but it was not the same. And so it was hard going out and doing certain kind of training without her. So when she came back, it was such a joy, and what a difference when she came back.
I think I remember, Anna, that the first time I went to an event, it was in, I think, Utah. And I remember because my hair had thinned out so much. And all of a sudden, the moment of being there with everyone made me realize, share the story and tell them what happened. And then all of a sudden, did you get a mammogram? Did you get a mammogram? People were looking to me for support because they had a diagnosis or they had a friend or a family. It's so much more out there. I don't know for what reason. There's just so much more breast cancer lately that it's scary. But we can survive with the love of, I believe in God. I believe there's a higher spirit, but the support of the higher being, the support of my family, and the passion of realizing how lucky we are every day. It shouldn't be anti-aging. It should be a blessing to age. It should be nice to be able to get older. And the sad part about it too is through all of this, my daughter-in-law was diagnosed with breast cancer, and she didn't make it. So there was a guilt about her not making it and me making it. There was a guilt there. It was pretty hard because I felt she was young, I was old. Why am I living and her not? But it was hard.
And I think that was a double hit. And so in Georgia's memory, we still honor her and always remind people, please go get checked.
Yeah.
It was difficult.
So there's a survival guilt that is crazy with all of this. There's a survivor guilt. But I also learned that I'm here for a reason. And I'm here to tell people that you can survive, you can live, enjoy. You know, it's not a death sentence. In fact, I'm going to die. And then the doctor, and I think the nurse said, we're all going to die.
Yeah.
So why are you're not, it's not a death sentence. It's just that you have to fight to live longer. And we all have to fight, and we all have to do the right things and be aware of precaution. You know, take it serious. You know, do the checkups. You know, be aware of your body. Your body sends you signs. Falling is not a coincidence. You're right, Fan. But if you find a lump, don't leave it go. You know, I mean, be there. Be aware of your body. Stress. We're under a lot of stress It's been really hard. This whole global stress is not just United States. Everyone has some type of stress, but be aware and you can live. And every day is a blessing for me. Every day is a blessing, and I love what I'm doing. I think that is therapy for me. I don't go to a therapist, but I come to work. Sometimes we work 14, 15 hours, but I feel fulfilled, or I could do something different for this industry.
This episode is an incredible testament to Metaxia's strength, resilience, and grace, and is a reminder of the power of community and support. To hear her full story, listen back to episode 61 of A SkinDepth Convo. From surviving to healing, our next highlight took us into the world of advanced dermatology and skin cancer care. Getting a cancer diagnosis is frightening, but innovations in treatment, like Mohs surgery, are helping patients heal with confidence. We spoke with Dr. Mariam Mafi from Rush University, who explained why Mohs surgery offers one of the highest cure rates of any skin cancer procedure.
Yeah, I think, Mohs surgery sort of evolved as cancer removal, and then
Yes.
beyond, kind of past the 70s, it started to really focus on maximizing scar outcomes and surgical outcomes for sure. So the surgery itself, we use minimal margins. So we kind of cut right around the edges of the skin cancer versus taking extra normal skin around it. That's unnecessary. And the reason we do that is because the beauty of Mohs is how it's processed. That's what makes it kind of different from standard surgery excisions. When it goes to the lab, and the lab is my lab, so I control sort of where the tissue goes. I have a tech I work one-on-one with every day, so he orients it and inks it exactly how I ask him to do it, and then he cuts it and processes it for me. And so I look at it under the microscope. And what makes Mohs so special is we look at it 360 degrees around. So I look at every edge of the lesion, all the cells around, underneath, every which way, which is not typically done in your standard excision. And if there is something positive, meaning there's still cancer cells left, I've mapped it in a way where I get to go back exactly where it's located. So if you think about like a clock, if I say, hey, there's some left at 3 o'clock, I'll go to 3 o'clock and I'll take some from there, and I won't mess with the rest of it. So it allows us to take as minimal tissue as possible, therefore leading to a smaller scar. Well, one uncommon type of skin cancer that people don't think about is with melanoma. Can occur under your nail. You have skin under your nails, and so it can show up under your nail. It looks like a dark streak. That is one of the ones that can be more common in darker skin folks. So everyone's looking at their nails now. I don't know if you got nail polish on, but take a look. I always tell my patients, we look at your nails when we do skin checks, and if they've got nail polish on, I'm like, hey, next time you take your nail polish off, just look for any brown streaks just to make sure it looks okay.
I think we all checked our nails after that one. Now, Dr. Mafi shared invaluable advice about caring for your skin before and after surgery, when to return to treatments like facials and peels, and of course, the importance of daily sunscreen. To learn more about Mohs surgery, catch all her expert insights in episode number 58. Now, speaking of sunscreen, one of the most talked about topics this year was sun protection and the science behind it. Dr. Gabriella Bacchi, cosmetic chemist and professor at the University of Toledo, joined us to demystify sunscreen and formulations.
So when it comes to drug facts, so sunscreens in the United States are regulated as drugs. And just like any other OTC products, from your headache medication to maybe cough drops or anything else, they must carry a drug facts label. This is a labeling requirement put forth by the FDA. And so it just makes it easier for a consumer to find the information on the label, because the label is structured in a very standardized way. It always has ingredients in the same, or not ingredients, but it has information in the same order. And it has active ingredients always listed on the top with what their functions are. And it has everything else, directions for safe use, all of those on the label. So it makes it very easy for a consumer to know where to find information, maybe compare product to product, and also to contact the company if they have any questions. So the reason why sunscreens have a drug facts box is really to allow consumers to safely use the product. And it's a requirement because they are considered drugs.
And we also have to pay an extra testing fee when we are manufacturing. So there is a lot of testing involved, and there's a lot more invested in this SPF product, but they are very, very important for everybody to remember that there is a use for them, and you should start very, very young.
She also addressed a major misconception that higher Fitzpatrick skin tones don't need sunscreen.
I think the biggest misconception is, especially for the darkest ones, so the 5 and 6, is that they don't need protection because they have more melanin in the skin. And that is true, that they have more melanin in the skin, hence the darker skin color. But even that larger amount of melanin is not enough to give you adequate sun protection. So my skin probably has about 1 to 2 SPF from the melanin that's in my skin. A darker skin color may have something around 10, but that's not enough. We just talked about that. Probably 30 is a good number to go after. So I think what's a big misconception is if you have darker skin, you don't need to use sunscreen because you don't burn. What's the point? Well, the point is that you still get wrinkles. Hyperpigmentation, especially post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation, is very common in darker skin color. And so the sun just triggers that even more. And skin cancer is such a leading type of cancer that is mostly driven by and triggered by the sun. And while it is easier to detect earlier on in earlier stages on light skin color because of the contrast, it usually starts something looking like as a birthmark. So on my skin, it would be really easy to pinpoint something and keep track of what it looks like over time, over the years. Is it growing? Is it becoming a weird color? Is it still a homogeneous weird color? It's really hard to detect and see where it is on darker skin colors. So unfortunately, a lot of times when it gets detected on darker skin consumers, so Fitzpatrick 5 and 6, it's already in more advanced stages because, I mean, you just don't get that contrast. So I think that's one of the largest misconceptions, that you do need to use sunscreen no matter your skin color because you do get the sun exposure. So good for you if you don't burn, but there are so many other things that the sun does to our skin.
Dr. Gabriella Bacchi also wrote an impressive book on cosmetic science called The Introduction to Cosmetic Formulation and Technology. It is a great resource for students and professionals to expand their knowledge. Now, while she provided a lot of great information about sunscreen and SPF, she also discussed the importance of emulsions in skincare in another episode. And you can listen to both of these episodes by going to number 55 and 56 of the podcast. An important note that Dr. Bacchi also brought up a myth that higher Fitzpatricks do not need sun protection. We discussed this with licensed esthetician Jerlene Jean Lewis and dove further into the conversation of inclusive skincare.
How about SPFs?
SPF. Ooh, I'm Queen SPF. I don't get this glow from nothing. The misconception for all Fitz 4s, 5, 6, we don't need SPF. The melanin is protecting us. Now, Metaxia did teach me something when I went to Atlanta Purely Clinical, that melanin was an antioxidant. I never thought of it that way because it is protecting us, right? Mm-hmm. But we don't want too much of it. And again, I'm a Florida girl. I prefer to be hot than cold. So I did grow up not thinking that I needed sunscreen. But then, you know, as you get older, even though the melanated skin is more resilient to producing excess melanin without inflammation, however, it still breaks down your good collagen and elastin. So fine lines, wrinkles, or someone, you can see someone who has nice skin apparently on the base layer, but it's dull, right? They're not using anything to protect them. So everybody knows I'm Queen 2-finger rule. You need to use at least 2 fingers worth of sunscreen. They don't have to be puddles, but you're melanated. You have to protect all that melanin.
I love that.
That's a new one. Melanated. I like that.
Melanated.
I like that.
love that.
I tell them that all the time. People are always like, how come your skin is so glowing? I don't go to my mailbox without sunscreen. It's just that deep. If I'm here in the treatment room and I go get lunch, if it's a certain time frame, I check the UV index. I do check the UV index. I show my clients where it is on the iPhone weather app, but they're not going to check it every day. I do tell them, but they're not going to check it every day. But I will reapply. They think I'm crazy. I go on vacation. I reapply sunscreen. I tell everyone how to reapply sunscreen.
Love it.
Thank
when they
you.
come in, yeah.
Oh, you're saying exactly what you have to reapply when you're outside with anybody's sunscreen, not just ours, anybody's sunscreen. That's the way sunscreens work. Yes.
Correct.
Is
It
there-
says
is-
it like it says it on the bottle, right?
Yes, yes.
Julene shared her expertise on caring for deeper skin tones and why education and awareness are key to delivering effective, inclusive treatments. To learn more about skincare for higher Fitzpatricks and the best Lyra skincare products you should use, check out episode number 63. From sun protection to seasonal radiance, we couldn't forget the fan favorite, pumpkin. Now, pumpkin isn't just for fall. The Lyra Clinical Education Team, which includes Tiffany Friedrich, George Gallegos, and Lou Ramos, joined us to break down why this bright orange superfood is a powerhouse for the skin all year long.
Pumpkin overall it is wonderful for the skin in the sense that it does naturally contain a lot of vitamins as well as minerals that are beautiful to be able to utilize in skincare. With that in mind, pumpkin actually has a higher natural content of vitamin C than your average citrus fruits. So when we kind of think of vitamin C, we think of orange juice, lemons, grapefruit, what have you, but actually pumpkin contains more vitamin C. And then when we look towards pumpkin on the other side with vitamin A, because we know that vitamin A as well as vitamin C are two powerhouses in the skincare industry, there is a high content of beta carotene with vitamin A in pumpkin as well. So this is where you can see a lot of your masks and a lot of your creams that can incorporate pumpkin to benefit the skin. And then of course on the mineral side, where we absolutely love our minerals here at Lyra Clinical, we do have our magnesium as well as calcium and zinc. So when we look towards zinc, obviously we know that works beautifully for acneic skin, anti-inflammatory, calcium with aging, and magnesium to help with repair in the skin.
Guys, I wanted to kind of add, just kind of talking to like that beta carotene that you're kind of talking about, Tiffany. So, beta carotene, it's kind of something like a supplement that people would kind of take. There was like juicers, right? People who would like juice carrots, they would juice squash, and all of a sudden, you could start to see their skin color, their skin tone starts to take on that orange looking type of look as well. And, beta carotene in like the skincare world is fantastic. One of the main reasons it's ability to fight free radical damage and it being an antioxidant. But the other benefit is it being a precursor to vitamin A. So it's starting out as beta carotene in the body, your body being able to convert it into vitamin A. You're going to get just the same amazing like anti-aging benefits as you will as a topical vitamin A when you're utilizing that beta carotene as well. Has anybody juiced vitamin A or beta carotene? Anybody have that Oompa Loompa look?
Not to that point.
There's a story.
Actually, hold on. Yes. When? I did when I was little, and I will have Fran tell that story because I guess there's this whole craze now on the beta carotene, like glowing up thing on social media. But Fran did this way back. You were a trendsetter back when I was a baby, Fran.
Way back. We're part of a cancer study, and beta carotene was great for cancer, actually. That was one of the first things I heard about. So what I did when you were young, Anna, I used to make a vegetable soup with a lot of carrots. I would shred the carrots and make sure, and I had this orange soup with all these vegetables. And of course I put some meat in there too. And I would make sure she had a couple of bowls a day. She fought back, and she always has been a fighter. Okay, she fought back, but I was able.
It's in the blood.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And what happened is your hands started becoming orange. Your skin had this orange color to it. And so then I was reading up on it and I found out, okay, I'm doing a little too much now, so maybe I need to back off. But the first place I noticed it was on the palm of your hands. But yes, it was great since way back in the 80s. And yes, I'm dating myself, but way back in the 80s, we really were discussing this. I'm dating you too. Absolutely. But it has been something that's been very, very important. So eating carrots is important. And again, when we put skincare together, it's important to understand how the body works so we understand how to put products together. So the benefits of pumpkin have always been there with carrots, beta carotene, all of this. So when you put a formulation together with all these benefits, you get a winner.
Who's seen the glowing up trend on social media?
Yeah, it's everywhere, isn't it? And I think that you see it either on the TikTok, you see it on the Instagram, on the Facebook. You see people either eating the carrots or taking the beta carotene, as George said, is as a supplement. And
yeah, they put drops in their water and then they drink so much of the water, and then, before, and then all of a sudden after, and they have this beautiful glowing tan, and you're like, well, all right.
Yeah, and that's how they're pitching it too. It's kind of like be healthier with your sun exposure instead of go ahead and take beta carotene so you have a natural glow.
Or carrot soup. Or carrot soup will do it too.
From pumpkin enzymes to the future of skin rejuvenation, regenerative aesthetics took center stage this year, and Dr. Chantel Lunderville shared her holistic approach to aging and skin repair while highlighting some of the most sought-after regenerative ingredients.
It's really a gift that technology has given us in this time. The way that we've almost always traditionally thought about cosmetics and aesthetics is, hey, I'm going to inject, say, filler because as we age, we lose facial volume, so we just replace it. So that's the old paradigm. We just replace what's lost. The new paradigm is about using our actual bodies and the natural processes of what it already wants to do and already knows how to do, and just supporting that. So an example of that would even be when we use Sculptra to stimulate our body's own collagen. We are not injecting anything that's necessarily foreign, but we're just injecting something that will help stimulate. Other ingredients like growth factors are an amazing example of regenerative medicine, because your body, in response to being cut, for example, if I were to break in my new shoes and I get blisters, my body's response to that is to naturally lay down collagen. One of the signals in how it does that is that the platelets and other macrophages and other cells, they secrete growth factors. And this helps stimulate those fibroblasts to lay down new collagen. Now, if we do lasers in the clinic, say we do a CO2 laser, we're sort of stimulating a similar response as to if we cut ourselves. It's a controlled trauma. So we know predictably how our body is going to secrete those growth factors. There's going to be macrophages and those repair cells coming to plug in that hole, lay down some fibrin, trigger those fibroblasts to lay down new collagen. We've been doing lasers for a while. When we do lasers, now we have more regenerative ingredients that we can actually lay on top that mimic our own body's, say, growth factors, and will give extra signal for us to lay down even more collagen. So in our practice, and in a lot of, practices nowadays, we have, even if we have the same treatment menu that we had maybe 5 years ago, we now have even better ingredients that we're using in conjunction that can just, and there's a lot of studies around how it gives, up to a 30% improved outcome. The healing time can be reduced as much as half. So if you can imagine when we used to do those lasers where we'd have to be out for a week or two, now we're only going to have to be out for like 3 to 5 days at most, which is what that does for our productivity, us being able to get back to work and things like that. So, for most practices, it looks like a menu that has growth factors post-procedure. I mean, there's also PDRN, which is a huge one, salmon sperm. I don't know if you guys have heard of that.
Mm-hmm. Just a bit, yes. We have a little idea about it, yes.
Yeah, that's an example of a regenerative ingredient. And then, we're using a lot of regenerative ingredients as well to inject. So peptides, glutathione, things like that. We're getting a lot of technology from Asia and sort of learning how they're using it, and it's being studied. So I recommend for nurses and consumers to just do your research. Like, what papers are there? If your nurse is offering it to you, ask, like, what data is this based on? Is it like, why did you buy this product? Because a lot of it is hype. So, look into where they're sourcing the actual regenerative ingredient. Is it pharmacological grade? Is it medical grade? That's what I always encourage my nurses to do out there, because there's just so many products out there. You don't know where they come from.
And the quality and the grade matters. It really does.
It does. It could be mostly chemicals.
Yeah.
So the key word is regenerative is growth factors. We're really looking more or less for controlling the growth factors and speeding up the healing process.
It can be growth factors. It can be salmon sperm, PDRN. It can actually
Keep
be
talking, Dr. C. Keep talking.
Yeah, Peter is a favorite of ours.
Yes.
And here's a little teaser. Lyra Clinical has a big announcement coming in the new year regarding PDRN. So stay tuned to lyraclinical.com and SkinDepth Convo for the latest conversation around this regenerative ingredient. Now, Dr. C also dove into a big discussion about hormones, menopause, and how wellness ties into overall skin health.
In the past, I was trained very conservatively, and most doctors kind of that came up during my time and even up until now and are still being trained this way. And now the tide is turning, but we were very anti-hormones in general because of the Women's Health Initiative, the study that came out. And recently now there's been more studies on those results as well as post-clinical studies that have shown some mortality benefit for certain patients. And so we're kind of creating a more nuanced conversation about who hormones can benefit. And I'm by no means pushing hormones, but I think now we have a more balanced conversation around there is benefit. It's not as harmful as we thought. I've recently, kind of over the past 3 years, changed my stance on it from going from very anti-hormone to being a lot more balanced. I still think a lot of doctors hate it, and there's still a lot of backlash. And, I think we're at a really interesting time because when I was being trained, we were pushing birth control, but we were telling people by no means, absolutely not, hormone replacement therapy is a last resort. And now there's a whole backlash to hormone birth control, like pills and all of that. And women are a lot more embracing, especially the Gen Z, they're embracing rhythm method and these things that I know my mom, would tell me about. So it's kind of like a return to the more like natural ways. And then now people are more into the hormone therapy for menopause. So I think we're just trying to keep up culturally while also trying to remain safe. It's very interesting as a provider.
That is true. But you also do a lot of traditional and holistic approaches to aesthetics. How do you feel that they work together?
When I started my medical spa, I remember we would do Botox, filler, microneedling. But for the most part, what my patients and I talked about was like, how are you doing in life with your kids moving out, with your divorce, with the loss of a parent? Like, for the most part, that's what we talked about. And a lot of it would be around and I think it's just my family medicine background too. I was just very invested in it. How can we get you to live a better life? Is that more energy? Is that a better sex life? Is that like, what are we going to do to optimize more than just your Botox? What are we going to talk about? And to me, that's always been in the family medicine paradigm. Nothing is off limits. So now in aesthetics, I think because women have really, really been drawn into aesthetics, the stigma is, kind of gone away in a lot of cities. And now women are really having these conversations about, I don't feel great, or maybe I think something's wrong, but I don't know, but my doctor said everything's fine and they only saw me in 15 minutes. So I think this kind of common problem that we've all experienced with modern healthcare, and now that a lot of us are now being seen in medical spas regularly, it's just kind of migrated a lot of the primary care concerns to the aesthetic space. And so a lot of those things are hormones. They are holistic care, because we don't want to go to 10 different people to get something done. If we say, oh, I'm feeling like, low sex drive, low energy, and I've talked about like I can maybe see it in my face as well. What other labs can we do? And so I think it's the timing of it, but also just how our skin is so much related to how we feel inside that really nothing is off limits anymore in aesthetics.
Oh, that's a big one. What you said, it shows up on your skin and your face. It really does tell you what's going on when you're more dehydrated as you're getting older. And you're seeing elasticity going away and you're getting saggier skin. It all makes a difference. So we can work on it for many different ways. In Medi-Spas, you can do so many different treatments and so many different things. We could address it and making them feel better, making women feel a lot better, and men. Just making us feel a lot better inside and out makes a huge difference.
The key thing that I heard from Dr. C is she's invested. And that was a
Yes.
big key that I think the podcast should be aware of. When you're invested in your profession, you're invested to give more and to listen to more and pay attention. Every little thing matters. And I think that's really important. And this is where I think the medi-spas are changing and becoming where you're saying it is more of the therapeutic. And beauty comes from inside out. We think it's just that quick fix that's going to make you feel better, but it really is inside out also. So it's important that we understand that it's not a quick fix. It's an ongoing feel good kind of a thing, and keeping the youthful condition of our skin, but also youthful condition of inside, and when you feel good, it shows in your skin.
But don't feel guilty that you want to look good. That's the key. A lot of women feel, maybe I don't need to do this. There's nothing wrong with taking care of yourself. When you look good, you make yourself feel better. So it's a positive.
So true.
Yeah.
I always remember I had a patient, I think it was my second year in business, and I just always remember her. She never would have gotten filler, except her cousin brought her to one of our events, and we did a little bit of cheek filler. And I just remember her cousin told me later, yes, she asked for a raise because she felt so much better about her face.
Cool.
She was going through a divorce, and she actually was able to kind of let it go. It was really she was really fixated on her divorce, and she was able to sort of step into this new chapter because she felt hope again. And I was like, off of cheek filler, I love this. I love it, because it's for most women that have a career, children, they are taking care of their aging parents, they're getting older. There's so few times that we're able to just do something for us without guilt, spend money, or just spend time on ourselves. So in the medical spa, oftentimes that's their only time that they get.
Dr. C brought in a wealth of information. In our interview, she also addressed how to care for your skin using GLPs, plus how she helps others start their own aesthetic practice. So be ready to learn a lot in episode number 57. Next up, we took on social media and the skincare myths circulating online. From the comeback of tanning beds to DIY sunscreen recipes, our hosts and guests help us separate fact from fiction. Women's Health, they've published towards the end of last year, they published an article saying that Gen Z is bringing back tanning beds, everybody. They're bringing back the tanning beds. We talked about this last year, how Gen Z is apparently not as aware of skin safety, of taking care of your skin. And so this is really fascinating. The article says, quote, Gen Z has increasingly been sharing their love for and misinformation about artificial tans online, bringing the controversial technology back to the mainstream. As of 2023, there were nearly 22,000 tanning beds in operation in the U.S. According to market research company Ibis World, over 6,000 more than the tanning bed heyday of the late 2000s. So in the late 2000s, we had less, and that was when it was huge back then. So this is really confusing right now, as it appears social media has really, they talk about being concerned with aging and having great skincare, but they're talking about using tanning beds. I mean, what are your initial thoughts thinking about that?
Skin cancer.
Skin
cancer is the first thing that comes in my head. And what we have to remind people, that is something that you have to look for. That is one of the key things that we look for, is skin cancer, because that does change your life. And that's something that we have to prevent and not do things that actually increases the possibility of getting skin cancer.
I have to tell you, we say these stories in our classes. You take a chicken from a chicken from the store.
The chicken store.
And the epidermis, or the skin of the chicken, is moist and supple, and and you could do all kinds of things. But the chicken is, the skin is, again, moist. You put it in the oven, and the actual thickness of the skin becomes thinner and thinner till it cracks. What happens is that we're baking our skin in a way that the cells, you have skin cancer risk, but what you're doing is actually limiting the skin from holding hydration. You're actually cooking your skin, and the rays are not healthy. So for me, there are so many beautiful glowing products you can put in your skin to have a beautiful look, more of a tan look, instead of frying your skin in tanning beds. For me, it's skin cancer. Anybody who really is interested should go look online and see how much of the skin cancer and how much it has taken off. So for us, and I have to talk with Francine, we've talked about it before, we do not encourage it at all. because we worked in a dermatologist's office and saw younger people having skin cancer at a younger age because of all these crazy things they're offering out there. So beware, be smart, and live long and healthy and not worrying about having a moment of life of a tan and then it fades away and then you have the complications of it later.
Well, there's more, even like Metaxa is saying, skin cancer is number one. That's the first thing. Second thing is Gen Z is very young. So everything's in place. So everything is,
That's true.
They have firmer skin again, and they have even skin tones. But what they're doing is they're damaging their skin for the future. Number one, they're breaking down collagen. They're breaking down collagen elastin with the UV rays. Number thing, so they're increasing the sagging that's going to happen. They're increasing hyperpigmentation, uneven skin tone, besides cancer too. So these are all things that are going to show up a little later. So at this point, the big key here to stay younger and to make sure you maintain healthier skin, wellness is huge right now because wellness is very important.
Yep.
You do not go into damage what we already have. What we do is we enhance it and maintain the health of the skin. We don't go, and as Metaxia says, we give it UV rays, break down collagen, and bring up different melanocytes. We don't want to do that. We want to take care of the skin.
There's some celebrities who have said very false information on the topic. And some of these people I absolutely love, like Tom Brady, who I love. But he said that drinking more water protects him from the sun. And that's a falsehood that 23% of people who actually took a survey actually believe to be true. Yes, we need hydration. I know. But we need hydration, 100%. You have some other influencers who talked about making their own sunscreen on TikTok. There are tests. I mean, talk about it. You both, I mean, you use sunscreen is also a huge thing that we need to incorporate onto the body every day. But you know what it takes to put sunscreen together and to make it, to protect the skin.
OTC.
Oh, yeah. I got to ask you, though, I have seen things like on TikTok and on Instagram and everything where people are creating their own sunscreens at home. They're like, oh, this is how I make my own. What comes to your mind, as somebody who specializes in this, in the chemistry behind it? What do you think when you see stuff like that?
When I see that, I just, no, don't do that. Like if the first product probably you can create at home would be a sunscreen. So I think it's really hard for consumers to understand what great ingredients we use, how to get those. Zinc oxide is used in, for example, diaper rash products because it's also an antiseptic and helps with diaper rash, but it looks very white on the skin in that size. It's a different particle size. We also use zinc oxide and titanium dioxide. These are the two physical sunscreens. And I think it kind of goes back and forth. I feel like as the years go by, which one is favored more? Sometimes it's physical sunscreens, sometimes it's the chemical sunscreens. But so in terms of physical sunscreens, they're also used in makeup products as opacifiers, not only in foundations, but also in lipsticks and nail polish products to either give more opacity, so less see-through products at the end. For foundations, more coverage. Your lipstick color pops more on the lips if these have these ingredients. They're not the same size. Again, when it comes to sunscreens, we do use zinc oxide and titanium dioxide, but in very small particle sizes. So when you put it on your skin, it doesn't look white. It doesn't give you that white cast. And when it comes to sunscreens, making physical sunscreens is really challenging. It's not only an emulsion, but it's also a suspension. Suspension is something that has solid particles in it that doesn't dissolve. Think of, it's a silly example, but think of sand in water. So that would be an example of a suspension. Now, obviously, it sits down very quickly. So we as scientists have to figure out how do we keep sand floating? And so essentially, zinc oxide and titanium dioxide are not as big as sand would be, and we're not dealing with water. It's an emulsion, but it's the same concepts. We are constantly dealing with how do we prevent that from happening. That's something that you just, I know it from experience because we have to get the ingredients for our teaching lab. Our undergraduate degree is in person, and our students have a very intensive hands-on learning experience in the lab every semester from their freshman year up to their senior year. They have at least one lab, and I teach them in 2 labs throughout their academic career. It is not easy to get those ingredients. A lot of times when you purchase ingredients, the minimum purchase quantity is so high, sometimes 5 to 10 pounds. that a consumer is not going to be able to buy that they don't need that much. And so just buying it off of Amazon, you don't buy the same grade. It doesn't, not the same quality. So you're not even having the right ingredients, most likely. We use very specialized mixers in our labs to be able to recreate products in a very standardized way with the same quality. These are very expensive instruments, so I don't think DIYers typically do not invest. So your product's quality is changing all the time, but mixing is so important when it comes to sunscreens. And so you're just not going to get a consistent product out of it. It's not safe, I think, from that perspective, that consumers will think that they created a product that gives them the protection, but truly they don't. And so they will just use it and go out to the sun when they should have protection on the skin. So I think it's not that it's unsafe what they make at home. Those ingredients that you buy are likely safe. It's just not the same grade, but it's more so the end product is not giving you the protection, but you believe that it does. So I think from that perspective, it's just so misleading. It's fine making some products at home, but sunscreen, no.
Like, don't do it. So be careful about what you see online and always do your research and talk to your skincare professional. From skincare myths to nutrition truths, one of the most insightful conversations explored the link between diet and acne. We are joined by nutritionist and author Maria Marlowe, who specializes in acne and gave her recommendations to achieve a clear complexion.
Oh, it is super important. It is super duper important because our gut health plays a really big role in our skin health. And interestingly, there is some research to suggest that people with acne are more likely to be constipated. So fiber, of course, helps us become more regular. And it's really beneficial for cleaning out the gut, right? And we want to do that. It's important for our body's natural detoxification process. It's important for hormone balance. People sometimes think that hormonal acne is just like a silo of its own, but there is a connection to the gut. So it is really important for hormone balance that we're eating enough fiber and we're eliminating daily. So fiber, which you get from your vegetables, your fruit, your legumes like beans, lentils, all of these things are going to be really beneficial for our gut health and ultimately our skin health. We have research to suggest that certain probiotics, for example, can actually improve the skin from the inside out, and even diet as well. So in terms of probiotics, there's a particular probiotic called L-rhamnosus sp1. This was found in a double-blind, placebo-controlled trial, which is like the gold standard of trials, to reduce adult acne in 12 weeks. We also know there's another strain called L-paracasey, which supports the skin barrier and skin hydration. L-acidophilus, this is a common one. This is also good for acne-prone skin. So that's really important. And then, foods. We know that certain foods can break us out, like having a high glycemic load diet. So eating too much sugar, too much refined carbohydrates, that is associated with more breakouts. And typically, the more of these foods you eat, the worse the severity of the acne. So there is absolutely a connection, and that's why using our diet and, things like probiotics can be super beneficial for healing our skin from the inside out. But making food changes can be really overwhelming. So I like to kind of meet people where they're at. And sometimes it's about first adding in things that are going to be helpful versus taking things out. Because sometimes the taking things out can just be too overwhelming and then you just throw in the towel too soon. And, sugary foods, these processed and packaged foods, like they're addicting. They're literally engineered to addict you.
Yes.
So to just rip them out and be like, you can't have this anymore, like that doesn't work, I feel. So what I like to focus on is first adding in beneficial foods that are going to be helpful. And yes, maybe you might not be absorbing all the nutrients yet, but that's why we also start with gut health. So we start on adding in certain foods that are going to be beneficial, but also working on gut health, improving the gut health through fermented foods, through probiotics, making sure you're eating enough fiber and you're regular, drinking enough water, those sorts of things, starting kind of simply to clean your body out that way. You don't necessarily need to do like a juice cleanse or like a detox to start getting the body prepared and, moving in the right direction.
Maria shared how what's on your plate can directly impact your skin and offered simple, evidence-based ways to heal from within. And for more information, you can head to episode number 51 of the podcast. And since we're talking about skin scares, Halloween brought one of the most memorable episodes of the year. Metaxia shared a truly scary story about something that happened to her right before she got onto a plane for Australia.
It's an experience, and we're going to share it because I think it's a learning opportunity for all of us, because I learned. We were leaving on the 9th to go to Australia, and I decided to go get a little touch-up because we had a presentation of over 200 people. So I went to a nurse practitioner, and she was just going to do a little bit of a filler, nothing crazy. And all of a sudden, she had a little left over, and she wanted to do this sensitive area, which Brenda had told me multiple times, that's a very dangerous area. And I had gone to my dermatologist, very skilled, and he's done it once a year just to keep that area nice and clean. And I listened to Brenda, and I even told her, the doctor, and he says that was very wise. But for whatever reason, not thinking, when the nurse practitioner the day before said, oh, I have a little leftover, she decided to do a little spot because I really wasn't due for it, but she had a leftover. And as she did this, all of a sudden, I started to blanch to the point that her body language changed. It was a concern. And she started to blanch. And she says, what are you feeling? And I says, oh my God, I feel like you have an ice pack on my forehead. So she's kind of looking around and starting to massage and mold that area. And I'm seeing this, I'm thinking, wait a minute, I've never noticed this before, never had happened before, and I've had derma fillers. And so, oh my God, what are we going to do? And then Anna's actually there and says, oh, this is not right. Something is not right because I've never seen this before. And all of a sudden the blanching came up, and it was like a gray, dull look. And I'm having this sensation. And all of a sudden she goes, well, I need to get some hyaluronase, the enzyme. And she left Hylenex. Thank you, Brenda. You're there to support me.
Absolutely.
Love that. Thank you. And then all of a sudden she left me there, and she said she had to go home and get the vial. So I'm waiting there about a half hour, and she comes back and she decides to inject. I think noticing her not knowing exactly, never happened to her. She's been doing this for 17 plus years. She's injecting me, and she's injecting me and rubbing and rubbing and rubbing. And good about a half hour. In fact, she sent us to get coffee while she went to get the vial, and then we came back. And
Wait a
then,
minute. You didn't tell me that. You
Yeah,
left
it's
to
true.
go get coffee while you had an occlusion.
Yes, she told me, go get coffee and I'll be right back. So we went downstairs to the coffee place and got coffee. And then when she came back, she injected it, but noticed that there was still some blanching on my upper eyebrow. And so she goes, oh, let me get some more. I went to the office to do the finals before we left. I went back to her office, and she's injecting. At this point, she's rubbing and rubbing, telling me to put hot compresses. At night, it's getting worse. So I decided to call the dermatologist, my dermatologist, who was out of town. And she advised me to go see an eye doctor because I didn't know all the complications. I was embarrassed to call my partner. And
Never
then that
be
morning,
embarrassed.
I know, but it's the truth. This is real. Fran and Anna goes, hey, the only person who's going to give you the honest truth is Brenda. So on that morning, I called her, and I was in tears. And she goes, okay, what's wrong? Typical nurse, typical friend. And so I told her, and she said a few words that's well known for Brenda. And she goes, you need to get to a doctor. I then went back to her in the morning before I went to the doctor's appointment, and she's trying to put some more of it in. And at this point, I have like a skid mark of the rubbing and the injections, all these little injections. I'm in my second vial with her. And I went to the doctor, and he wasn't there. The nurse practitioner says, you know, it's kind of hard. I think they were kind of conservative as far as doing anything. The nurse practitioner wanted them to inject me with more. They did not. I went to the eye doctor. To be sure if I could have, any problem with my vision. The doctor had no idea. The eye doctor had no idea what was going on. He said, I don't see anything. But Brenda met me at the airport on Tuesday the 9th, and all of a sudden they were starting to get pus. The nurse practitioner told me to get some nitro paste on the way to the airport, which I got. And Brenda, the first thing she says, what are you going to do with this? This is old school. What are you doing with this?
Yeah, stop a second. You were on the phone as we were going across the San Mateo Bridge. And as we're going across the San Mateo Bridge to be on a plane that we needed to be on 2 hours prior to boarding,
Yes.
And then remember, Anna, we were in the car.
You made a pit
and
stop.
we were driving, and she says, we have to get a prescription. And we only had a certain amount of time, and we were losing our minds a little bit at this point. And you say it nice and calm, but that wasn't the situation in the car. Just to let you know this. Okay.
But we're doing everything, and we're getting text messages, and she was text messaging me fiercely. She's concerned. Maybe, you need a plastic surgeon. I felt for her because she was trying to follow up for as much as she could at that moment. I go to the airport and I show Brenda this nitro paste, and she looked at me. She goes, "Did you get gloves? Did you give you instructions how to use it? You could actually pass out on the floor." Oh my God, she was panicking because it was old school recommended. There's so much more. So she says,
"Wait,
let's
see,
get
she
on the
wanted
airplane."
a sterile field, Brenda. We're at the airport.
Yeah.
Where did you want to find the sterile field?
In an airport.
Find all this?
I keep nitro paste in my drawer, but just to ward off evil spirits. I never use it. I have epinephrine. I mean, I have a toolkit, and I have products to reverse, God help us, any injector, an occlusion, and it can happen to the most seasoned injectors, nurse or doctor. My issue is she wasn't prepared to manage this untoward event. I keep nitro paste just to ward it all off. Not going to happen. I guess some people still use it. I have to buy a new tube every year because it expires, but I don't care.
But wait, we weren't putting it on in a normal place.
Hylenex is very expensive, but any injector has to have it on hand and has to have at least 12 to 16 boxes.
But wait, see, you're not explaining how it was put on. It wasn't put on in the restroom. It wasn't put on before we got on the plane. It was put on where?
At the United Lounge.
Oh, no,
right?
no.
The United Lounge. No, I thought it was on the plane.
No.
Yeah, Anna was on the first row. I was behind her. You were behind me, and Brenda was behind you. And I remember Anna jumping from the front. Anna, do you remember that part?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
It was on the plane.
It was on the plane.
No. After I slept, I woke up and there was this big blister. And all of a sudden, that's where Anna jumped from the front row to you. I was was in front of Brenda, and we opened up the paste with a cardboard, and she applied it. That's what she applied.
Because I didn't want to pass out either.
Oh my God.
All of us would have been on the floor. And that's, usually, not United tries to avoid things like that, right?
Yes. So I'm saying, it's hot. It's hot. I'm burning. Wipe the damn thing off. Wipe the damn thing off.
She did say it that way.
She
had some colorful language going on.
Yes.
All right.
Because
this is the PG version.
Yes.
Now, the full episode features all 4 Lyra Clinical owners sharing their own real spooky stories from the industry. And you can hear it all on episode number 62. Now, speaking of Australia, Metaxia did make it there. And when she did, she found that the global energy was inspiring. And we met up with Kristen Scholes from Australia and Joanne Schlett from New Zealand, who shared highlights from this year's Global Skin Affair with over 150 entries showcasing transformations using Lyra Clinical.
Oh, the energy, the vibe. I think, when we come into meeting up with, the ladies the day before or 2 days before everything starts, we don't get to see you all that often. So when we do, the vibe and the energy is just electric. And everyone is so excited to be able to host all of you over here. And it's such really a special thing for us. So I don't know about you, Joe, but I get uber pumped and really super excited because I just love learning from these ladies, and what they bring to our therapists and to our team is pretty special.
Yeah, the same with the New Zealand girls. They're just so excited to have a distributor that actually wants to meet them, and it's something that doesn't happen a lot. The feedback's been amazing. They were super excited, and they really want to showcase what they're doing with the Lyra products and show the ladies that they are doing really great treatments, and they've said they've had such energy, and they come back to New Zealand wanting to do more treatments. So fantastic.
Yeah. And also as well, I notice, they really love the fact that being able to chat to Francine, Metaxia and Brenda and show their work, they really love that ability to be able to speak directly. So that's a really big plus for us too.
This was our 6th skin affair in 7 years. We only missed one, and it was during COVID. But what I have to say, it's grown so much.
Yeah.
We've grown. These are getting better and better every year. The last 2 years we were in Hayman Island. We had a beautiful time with the coral reef. It was gorgeous. All of these people, more and more people are attending. We're so excited. And the excitement in the room and the way you bring all these teams together, all these wonderful skincare professionals together, we're excited to see them and the results that they were able to show us. In your beautiful before and after competition, it was beautiful.
So for the categories of the Skin Affair, we have an overall winner, and that overall winner is basically the most standout, and that could be across acne, age management, pigmentation, reactive. So we also have those as a category as well. So we now have 5, and then we've also introduced a modality category because of the way clinics are now working with the use of device and device technology. With the modalities category, it's to showcase what Lyra can do first and foremost in changing the health and the integrity of the skin with the ingredients from the skincare, and then the modalities, that last piece of the puzzle if necessary. So we really showcase what Lyra can do on its own, which we know it's a powerful tool to do, and that's what we really leverage off those before and afters, where it's just Lyra only.
Who are the winners that won this year, and why? Why were they the ones being honored?
Yes, so we had Efrosini Krokos from Melbourne Skin, and she was our overall winner for reactive. So a real presentation of eczema or atopic dermatitis, and the results that she was able to achieve, I think it was in a 3-month time frame or just under or over. We had a runner-up for acne, which was Amanda Attal from Melbourne Skin as well. So her acne before and after just blew everyone out of the ballpark. We also had Jodie Clinch from Oi Cosmetics Studio. She was in the category for age management. We had Adele Dunn for pigmentation as well, which we got some fantastic results there. We had Janine Honor from New Zealand as the winner of our modalities category. Jackie Nafika, I had to pronounce the name. You should have seen it. I had to rehearse it so I could pronounce it on the night.
Nafia.
Nafia.
Yeah.
There we go. Jackie Nafia for reactive. So, and Jackie was also one of our estheticians from New Zealand. So New Zealand is also now starting to gain a lot more of that attraction, which is awesome. Little Kiwis, you need it.
Yeah, we're coming up there. You watch out.
You're on our tail.
Yeah.
Kristen and Joe also shared their top skin concerns in their regions. And if you want to learn more about beauty in Oceania, check out episode number 60. From global beauty to personal empowerment, another fan favorite episode focused on body confidence and self-care. Metaxi and Francine dove into body care rituals, active ingredients for smoother skin, and the hottest trends to help you feel great from head to toe.
It's different than I would say, the creams out in the market. There is definitely ingredients that will help with just not hydration. It has a lot more of the benefits as far as tightening, just resurfacing, and actually brightening the skin. It's not just a hydrator that goes on the skin. It does a lot more. As clinical skincare is beneficial for the face, it's also beneficial for the body.
And with that, clinical skincare is a little more concentrated, a little stronger, higher percentages in a container or in a package. What we see is these big, large containers when you're buying body products. They're usually filled of water and fillers. What we are dealing with clinical skincare is you're dealing with products that have strong active ingredients that are able to target certain skin conditions for the body. And this is the difference that we are finding, because it's not, as Metaxi said, just putting on something for hydration that happens to smell good with the fragrance. You're actually putting something on that goes in and does a lot more than just hydrate. It's targeting elastin, it's targeting collagen, because one of the biggest things that we have, and we're seeing it all over on these commercials, crepey skin. Crepey skin is where you lose elasticity and you're losing collagen and your skin is dry. So the whole idea here is you have to get in there and actually exfoliate, manually exfoliate and brighten the skin. And then you need to do one more exfoliation so you can get all the dead skin off, and then put in peptides to actually get in there and deal with collagen and elastin so we can build the skin back up. And then we work on hydrating and putting nourishment back into the skin to plump it up and bring that hydrating, dewy, hydrated, younger skin back. So there's a whole philosophy of how we deal with skincare for the body that is clinical versus just putting on a hydrating product full of water and fragrance.
Now, one of the best parts of the show are the secrets that are shared. And Fran and Metaxia spilled the tea on some great secrets for body care.
Because we love using our peels with the body line, one thing Metaxia did as we were getting ready for Australia, she took the nourishing oil. And what did you do, Sia, with the nourishing oil before we got on the plane?
Secrets exposed. I have to tell you, I put this, the body oil all over and kind of saw the dryness. And then I took our green power with the oil and actually manipulated it too much. But I did get the erythema. I got so much stimulation, and then I removed it and put a little bit more oil. I could tell you I felt the sensation for 24 hours. The results were incredible. So we experiment. I have to say people have come back and said, oh my God, that's such a good treatment. But again, you are doing certain things on the body that you're going to see a result. It's not something I would do, say, in my arms or, again, there's variances that we could do.
I did it on the arms.
See? And what happened?
But the first time I put too much green power.
Okay, I did.
And then I could not, wear my clothes. I was uncomfortable. The second time when I did it, I actually used it with the body souffle, and used the less amount of the green power and put it in my arms.
Did it help?
It did. I felt that it was great. And another little quick secret, you take that souffle, okay, when you're wearing a strapless dress or whatever, and you mix it with the bronzer, BB bronze, and you mix it together, and you actually put it on, and you have this beautiful glow. It's absolutely beautiful. So sometimes when you need that glow and you don't see a lot of sun, or you don't see a lot, you put that little glow on, and it's absolutely beautiful. What we have to remind people is that Lyra Clinical is all about knowing how to get into a clinic's idea where we're dealing with skincare and exfoliation and peels, and we do put them together. So we are actually taking these wonderful body products, and we are incorporating Lyra Clinical Smart Peels. And we are seeing such great results because in clinic, people still want to go in and get jump-started in clinic and then go home and maintain that in-clinic treatment with the products that we're using. So this has been one of the funnest things to put together, that we are able to incorporate smart peels with these body treatments. One area as we're getting older, and even when we're younger, is on the upper arms. That's an area that is always a concern. Oh yeah, right there.
The bat wings.
The bat wings, that's one thing, but there's also keratosis pilaris, where some people have that bumpiness on their arms where it needs exfoliation and it also needs hydration. So these are things you can use the body scrub, then you can use the oil and the souffle, so we could actually help exfoliate and smooth out that section. And then, of course, there's, as you said, as we get older, this area, you can do as many push-ups and pull-ups, which you should be doing at the same time, but it also helps so very much to be using products that actually work in that area, especially the firming lotion, which is a peptide technology to help with elasticity issues that we have, because as you get older, things start going south.
Confidence isn't just about your face. It's about feeling good from head to toe. And speaking of confidence, one of our most uplifting episodes celebrated aging beautifully as we caught up with renowned esthetician and mindset coach Kimyada Albert, who revealed how to thrive at every stage of life.
We are miles away from, say, my mother. My mother was old and my mother, well, interesting enough, she had an old spirit, but even back then she was old in her 30s. If I'm honest, let's lose another word because old just has an interesting ring to it. She was mature early in life. Mm-hmm. I want to say I've never done that. So
I like that.
I have been this youthful energy because I embody youth. So I don't embody the age, I embody youth. So I'm just moving through my 50s. Hence why I'm being crowned the queen of the 50s, because I want to then hand the crown off as women turn 50. I feel like we deserve our flowers and our crown now, right? And so that's what that stands for. In terms of our parents, of course, you talk about technology. I mean, my mother had TMI, but the Olay and that old douchebag that used to be hanging in the shower, the one you used to think you would play with it. It was like a water balloon when you were in the bathtub. You was like, woo. Yeah, no woo. So that's all I knew. And so that's what she knew. I think now we want more as women, right? That was great then. We want way more now. We want to look good while we want these things. And so I think it's really individual. And I feel like it's intentionally deciding that you want to take better care of yourself and then allowing the actions to follow that. Our parents didn't have room for that. You know, they were taking care of us and maybe the homemaker, or they were the homemaker and the husband, and we have more time. And so now we're able to devote more of that to ourselves. And I don't think old. People try to put that jacket on me, and I'm like, with these legs, with these arms, with this smile, we gonna work this until, my face gotta be on my neck down here, and then I'll be like, I'll still be cute. We'll find a way, won't we? We'll find a way to hike it back up with our technology and our potions and our plant stem cells. So I think that it's really mindset. I'm not old because I don't think old thoughts. I'm futuristic in my thinking. I'm very positive. I bring life. I am life. I am light. So there's nothing old outside of the money that I want in my pockets. That could be old. How we look is how we convey our confidence outwardly, correct?
Sure.
And so if that outer skin does not reflect that, then it's telling us something about the internal. And I think as estheticians, we always are about the external, right? It's the one area that we're able to work on, per the dermatologist, and we know the epidermis and the dermis and that sort. But I find that with my clients, it's really important to get down to how they're doing. So after I go through the assessing of skin, it is like, okay, so how are you? Because how they are is going to determine how they're taking care of their skin and how they're going to continue to take care of their skin. And so instead of correcting what's there, I am always working from preventing whatever the concern is. It's important to embody youth, right? I'm okay with turning 50, and I think I look damn good. If I were to list all that I've gone through, and it showed on my skin, then it'll be a different conversation. I believe we're all in this business to help women look their best, even if they don't feel like it. It's like we have to fake it until we make it, and we will catch up. And so that's where we come in. And every esthetician is out there to help create a blueprint for a woman to find her best self. That is why she's laying on your table. I'm sure she appreciates the relaxation, but she wants to feel good. And for me, I remember clients telling me, Kenyatta, I leave feeling good. I feel as good as I look. And I'm like, ooh, that's a catchphrase. So then I said, you leave feeling as good as you look. And that's important. It's not just about your skin. It's about how you feel, because how you feel means you're going to take care of your skin. If I don't look at it that way, then you go out there and then I'm just taking your money, which is also an idea that does not suit me. I would prefer that you take care of yourself. And I think that's what we want women to do.
Kimyata reminded us that age is something to celebrate, not fear. She helps women embrace self-love, confidence, and success at every age. And what an incredible year it's been. We're so grateful to all our guests and listeners, and of course to our Lyra Clinical family, including Ryan McGeary for his amazing editing skills. The Lyra Clinical Education team, a big thank you to them, 3 Lantern, and of course, Lyra Clinical founders Francine and Metaxia for continuing to inspire us in every episode. Lots of excitement is coming your way in 2026, but before we go, we have a special treat, a little gift from us to you this holiday season, a few bloopers from behind the mic. But first, make sure to subscribe to A SkinDepth Convo on any of your favorite podcast platforms like Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And you can watch the show on Spotify and on Lyra Clinical's YouTube page at Lyra Clinical. And follow A SkinDepth Convo on all our social media channels on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. Just go to @SkinDepthConvo. And if you have any questions for Francine and Metaxia, just send us an email at info@skindepthconvo.com. That's info@skindepthconvo.com. From all of us at A SkinDepth Convo, I'm Anna Kagaraikis. We wish you a joyful holiday season and a beautiful new year.
Well, I think she jumped from
I did.
body
I got
products
excited.
That's okay.
I got excited.
Go for it.
to peels. So what's important is, as we're all over the place on this podcast, is that it is all over the place. It is, we could use our smart
It's
peels
not all over
in our
the place. It went straight in the line. We're talking about using the products and how you dealt with the green power and the nourishing oil. We are going down a straight line, because when you went down that line, it was okay. When I went down that line, it wasn't okay.
What's going on?
Oh, that's
yeah.
Yeah.
I get you.
Yeah. So
Oh,
we're all
yeah.
like linked in arms.
Hey.
Yeah. My décolleté, I could tell you the sleep lines. I'm constantly exfoliating and hydrating my décolleté because for me, now with spring, I definitely like to wear some looser clothes or whatever. What is that?
More open outfits. You wanna expose yourself a little.
Expose yourself.
I want to
Dax is exposing herself.
I want to expose my décolleté, and I want to expose how beautiful my neck is. But I have to tell you, thanks. I'm going to get you, Fran, for this one. I'm going to get you.
Who has their pumpkin latte in hand? I got mine.
Woohoo! Great way to start this podcast. Pumpkin time.
It's so true. I got my nice.
I have to say, though, my daughter-in-law just had a baby. Number 7 for me, little girl.
Wow,
but she's 7.
You are older.
I'm just starting.
Oh, wasn't it spectacular? Gosh, it was funny. So we were having the discussions of PDRN, and there was a really beautiful video that was created for our Skin Affair presentation of the kangaroo and one of the beautiful ingredients of the kangaroo paw. Anyway, so I think someone in the audience asked a question about, what other ingredients might be used or where does it come from. And Fran piped up and said, kangaroo sperm.
Of course you did.
Oh, we were laughing. It was like unbelievable. It was one of those moments you had to be in the room, and yeah, it was hilarious.
And then they said, how are you going to extract it?
Yeah.
You want details.
How do you get it?
In a gentle
we went down the rabbit hole.
We went down the rabbit hole.
Show our age.
Fran, after the reveal and it showed your hands, you went into a total different. She saw her hands under the reveal, and what you saw, she has never actually recovered from that. They're able to see, you have it. You're constantly working on your hands, kind of correcting them as it goes.
Hey, don't forget, everyone poops, right? Everyone poops. That's what they say. There's a whole book about it.
You see men are wearing their shorts. Now you see men wearing the tank tops. You see men being proud of their bodies at any age. I mean, I see older men walking. I see older men really just being more fit, which is really good.
Noticing the older men. Okay.
She's watching them walking down the street.
Hey, there they go. No, it's not
You
that
exfoliated, I can tell.
No, it's not watching the older men per se, personally.
Okay, back on track.
So I think it was when I first got married, I made my first pumpkin pie. And we were going to my mom's and my dad's for Thanksgiving. And of course, Metaxia was there too. And here I am walking in with 2 homemade pies. I had some dough and I made little leaves and put it on top, and I was all excited.
Oh.
And what happened is I put them on the counter, and Metaxia goes, "What did you do over there?" I go, "I made homemade pumpkin pie," right next to all the Greek desserts. So what she does is she takes her finger and sticks it right into the pie and turns it and messes up my pie. I went into shock and I go, "What are you doing?" So we start arguing in front of everybody. And this is in front of our husbands, our children, our parents, our younger sister, everybody. Well, it got to the point there were 2 pies. So Metaxia and I took the 2 pies into my mom's laundry room.
Oh no.
And we had a pie fight. Okay.
We had a pumpkin match.
Oh my God.
We had a pumpkin.
Well,
match.
your skin probably looked really good afterwards.
It was Fran,
but
it was orange. It was orange.
Our parents were like in shock. Grown women acting like this? What is wrong with you? And our mother's like, in front of your husbands and everything. What are you doing in front of your children? And we're like,
It was.
I love that.
It was an experience. And I have to say, with Fran, it's like, don't touch her creation. And I was just a little teased, and I'm thinking, so what is this? And I put my finger in it, and she was insulted. And then we took it to the next level.
Would anybody here be insulted if somebody did that to you?
It wasn't even. I was trying to show you that there was improvement to play with it. And you just looking at it like, oh my God. But it was great because you know something, we learned something.
Oh, what did you learn?
What did you learn?
I was like, what?
We learned
Don't mess with your pie.
We learned,
Don't mess with Fran.
Don't mess with her pie. And don't mess with Metaxia, because we'll take it to the next level.
Science called the